Welcome to the bold analysis today, the 21st of May, and thank you very much for supporting this podcast. The affordable housing project looks very beautiful on paper, and the problem is that at implementation we have insatiable political termites that are really waiting so that they can come out of the woodwork to feast. And human greed will definitely show its ugly face when the results are expected. Today, in this podcast, we are going to dig deep and look at the 3% housing levy and why President William Ruto is under due pressure and is considering making a U-turn on the housing levy. And what I want to explain through is through the lips of a man I hold of high regard, Permanent Secretary Charles Hinga, about the project. This is because if there is one man that you can really believe his statement or what he says, Charles Hinga worked with former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and he was actually indispensable. He was the brainer behind the affordable housing. This is one of the projects that was initiated amongst the Big Four agenda initiated by former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and it is the only one that President William Ruto has picked. One day I will tell you why that has been picked, but I can tell you a hint. When people get to power, they normally look at what is in it for us first. And we want to say this: the country must be very keen, because President William Ruto seems to be looking for a fund to borrow and run government, and is clearly hiding behind the housing fund story. I want to explain to you this in details, and also in this podcast I'm going to tell you that the fund is actually a smoke screen, and before the country knows, when it is solved, there are those people who might think that our problems are solved. To better understand, let us start here, where it was the idea behind it started here. Looking at the housing market in Kenya that is dominated by the private sector, according to a survey that was done by World Bank in 2017. And I want you to look at our fact sheet here. Data, according to the state data, is that 75% of Kenyans it shows that 95% of Kenyans earn less than 150,000. This is the payroll group. 95% are below the 150,000. So that only means that only 3% are above 150,000. The current market rate in our fact sheet here is a 14%, a mortgage that is given at 14% in a house that is worth 11 million for 10 years is attracting a monthly pay of 153,000. What does that mean? That means that for 10 years you pay 153,000 per month. For 10 years you're going to get, that's what will help you own a home or a house that is worth 11 million. So coming from this, it is clear. Also, another fact here is that 92% of Kenyans living in Nairobi are renting, with 75% of that population in the slum areas. So what is the resultant force here is that only 3% of Kenyans can afford mortgage, and not all of them are in mortgage. That is a bit of what PS Hinga tried to explain here.
First of all, over 65% of Kenyans that are living in our urban areas today, they live in slums. You know that as part of my docket, I look after informal settlements. In 2019, when is the last time we did a census of our informal settlements, we had 1,141 informal settlements across the country. 1,141. And you ask yourself, why are we having all these informal settlements.
So from where that story is starting, it's starting from the point of helping those who are in slum. Now, after realizing that our housing market was dominated by the public sector, and of course people who are out there to make the profit. So former President Uhuru Kenyatta, the initiator of this project, came up with this. And this is what the PS is saying. The biggest challenge in the cost of production is land. So government developed a PPP model. PPP model is public-private partnership. So that in the current market, a standard house, 1, 2, 3 bedroom house, the cost of constructing it is around 11 million. So government devised a way to lower that cost to 3 million. And this is what they did, and this is what they're saying, that state is giving land, and after giving land under the PPP model, then you get an investor. The investor is supposed to build. It's not government building. The investor is the one who is supposed to build. Government provides land and some horizontal infrastructure. Horizontal infrastructure is water tanks, the roads, playing field, hospital, and maybe some swimming pool and Wi-Fi. Those horizontal infrastructure is to make that house to be a level of the affordable housing, to meet the affordable housing requirements. Now, for these interventions, government giving land and horizontal infrastructure, their projection here is that they can drop the cost of the house from 11 million to 3 million. So investors cannot put, and investors are saying, and after that investors say they cannot put their money on far-end counties. After government advertised, they say they want to invest in Nairobi. So, because we want houses, to build houses from Kapsowar to Marsabit to my Siaya County to Homa Bay and to Kilifi, the investors cannot put their money in far-end counties because they can't get the business value. But government wants houses to be all over. And of course, another bit of this project is to make sure that Kenyans get jobs, which that provision, the demand for jobs, I think that one is sorted. Whether it is government or who is building, the jobs are going to be given in those sites. But I want you to pay attention here to something that President Ruto said. And his speech is clearly different from what Waziri is saying. But you need to get his point here first.
Tunasema yule mtu ambaye anaishi Kibera, yule mtu ambaye anaishi Mathare, yule mtu ambaye anaishi Kisumu Kondele, yule mtu ambaye anaishi hapo Kakamega ama anaishi Murang'a ama anaishi Kiambu, ambaye analipa rent kwa ile nyumba ambayo haina choo, haina taa, haina maji, shilingi 2,500. Huyo mtu na 2,500 yake tunataka kumjengea nyumba, atalipa shilingi 2,500 kwa nyumba ambayo iko na maji, nyumba ambayo iko na facilities, iko na kitchen, iko na choo, na analipa shilingi 2,500. Wakenya watataka kuniuliza, Bwana Hasla, hiyo nyumba iko wapi?
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to follow up that. The challenge of having politicians in this, if you listen to what PS is saying and what President is saying, they're totally different. President Ruto seems to have taken a populist angle and is simply saying that, number one, apart from the project giving us jobs, which we totally support, it's going to help eradicate the slum. By those who are paying 2,500 in the slums, will be at the same time able to pay this. Now, let me tell you, the red line that civil servants and Kenyans are drawing from the housing fund is this. Even after the 3% housing levy, for you to get the house, you will have to go for it as a mortgage. I think I need to repeat it. People don't get it. Why? You are making 3% deduction, housing levy, after it is pulled together, But for you to get that house, you must mortgage. The only thing here is government is going to have two interventions. The current bank's mortgage is 10 years at 14%. So government under this scheme is going to lower the interest rate at 7% because of that housing 3% levy. And number two, they are going to increase the years to 30 years. So instead of paying 153,000 for 10 years and owning the house, you're going to pay 15,000 for 30 years. I'm even wondering, so when you will be leaving that house and looking at the life expectancy, something is not simply adding up. So it's just trying to toss with the figures. William Ruto is saying that it's going to help us solve the slum problem. But are you really sure that those who are staying in Kibera, they will leave those shanties and go pay 5,000 for those blocks and pay mortgage? These are fellows that have normalized monthly conflict with the landlords, because there are also people that, not all of them pay, and they pay as little as 2,000. So you're saying that's going to be it? I have a feeling this is not solving the slum problem. And the PS, I think, is the one that is giving the clarity that we expect.
Right? Because we know out of this fund, because we're not borrowing, it is a saving, right? We're saving together. Now I can be able to give you, interest rate at 5%. I can give you 30 years to pay.
But people have contributed for you to build the house.
Yes.
So, but they're still going to come and take a mortgage on that house?
Exactly.
Please explain how this.
So let me explain.
Work. Because I think that's where the uproar is from.
I know, and then I know some.
Yeah, because folks are saying, wait a minute,
Gabriel, what is his name?
You guys have gotten this 9 billion, and you're getting this 9 billion from us every month. We've been told that Kenyans will be able to come back and get it later. But then if I want to own a house, I still have to come and get a mortgage. But I've contributed to the scheme in the first place.
But you see,
what are the mechanics of it?
If you pay 1,000, there is no way 1,000 can get you to even for rent. Okay? But the 1,000 has enabled us to build the houses en masse.
Okay.
When you listen to what PS Hinga is saying and what William Ruto is saying, there are two parallels. He's so clear. And that is what I've been saying. Here is, even after the 3% deduction, which is, they have capped it, so it is some 1,000 to 2,500. The highest paying will pay 2,500. Even after making that deduction, it is not a guarantee that you're going to get the house. For you to own that house, you must mortgage. So government is simply trying to get a scheme for mortgage, but they're saying at a lower rate. So that is why I ask a question. If it is to help us solve the slum problem, Mathare, Kibera, Mukuru kwa Ruben, where? Do you think this guy is going to leave those shanties to go and get in some involvement of a mortgage? Remember, people have some phobia when dealing with government. The landlord, you can always have a side charter when you have delays. And that is why I am saying that President Ruto must come very clean. The thing is looking so good on paper. Who is going to have pay a house for 15,000 for 30 years? What is the difference between that and the house I'm renting? And there is something I'm going to say. While on the flip side, the housing fund, there is, when you pay the 3% is deducted from salary, your employer also pays another 3%. The question is, you are paying, and pesa yako itarudishwa after 7 years if you are not interested in the house. I don't know how. How about the employer? Is he doing a charity? It's clearly. is he doing a charity? And someone was just telling me that they have started being paid by cash. So is the employer doing a charity? Because where does it come? And that is why they are actually warning of massive job cuts, because the fixed expenditure that companies are going through is going to really shrink even the absorption capacity in the labor market.
The reality is that when you increase the cost of labor, payroll costs go up, and employers are also under distress for very many other reasons, because there are very many other levies that are not deductions from the employees' pay. The total cost of doing business is untenable. That, of course, puts in danger jobs. And if you look at the excuse me, the trends in job creation in this country, the reality is that we see a danger in a reduction in jobs. We see a danger in lowering of employee morale.
That is it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to take a small break for Jay's Flowers Limited. Then at the other side of that break, we are going to look at what exactly you're not being told in this housing fund story. Hi guys, my name is Kevin of the Bold Analysis. Are you looking for fresh Kenyan flour? Then you need credible, certified and trusted company. And that is why I want to introduce to you Jay's Flowers Limited. Jay's Flowers Limited is a company that is currently based at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. And what you need to do is very simple. When you place your order with Jay's Flowers Limited, they will help you to get fresh flowers from the farm and also process the exportation to the country of destination. This is a trusted company that is currently working with clients from 7 continents across the world. What you need to know, you need to get more information by contacting them here, +254 7433 94954. Jay's Flowers Limited, the home of quality flowers. Now, Ruto is pursuing, it's a very good project, and I think the brains behind it really know it. But Ruto is packaging it in public, and the communication of it, the way it is being packaged in public, it's a bit of a populist just to soothe the ego of the hustlers. I went through the comment section in the PS Hinga's interview with Spice FM, and people are raising a lot of questions. Someone saying, me a hustler, and I think someone asked some few questions. I got some few questions. I need to get them. I think I even did a screenshot. I need to get those questions. People really raised questions on effectiveness of this list. This is somebody saying, assuming you collect 9 billion per month, that is 108 billion per year, and assuming everything goes as planned, that's very, very high big. If best case scenario of current market prices were looking at 50,000 units, thereafter 105 billion, vis-a-vis the millions of Kenyans who have contributed to the pool, who gets the houses? Question. And that is why I'm saying, I think I responded by saying, despite of contributing for the fund, it is not a guarantee that you're going to get the house. For you to get the house, you must pay mortgage. The only thing is that we're going to pay a mortgage now at a lower rate. One important angle they missed to ask is how, as an individual one, gets their investment back if you contribute but never end up buying a house. How do you get a return? It's it. You'll be given a return after 7 months, 7 years. Someone saying, people have left the rural areas and come to the cities to live in deplorable conditions because the opportunities in the cities are more. The government should be trying to treat the disease, not the symptom. Come up with programs to spark growth in rural towns and people will follow the money. The potential of our rural areas is huge, especially in the agricultural sector. That's it. So that's why some of these projects are not thriving at home. It's taken and is not telling the truth. What he's not telling the Mama Mboga in Kibera is that despite of this 3%, you're still going to pay it. And so this is what I say. Let PPP work. Let government give land. After giving land, let them have the budget under the annual development plan. In the annual budget, to develop areas, this horizontal infrastructure, so that the affordable housing should make an economic value. There is no need of spending billions of Kenyans' deductions to go and put houses in the middle of Kapsoar because everyone has a right to housing, while it doesn't make the economic value. How many people are going to afford it? Because in Siaya Town, let me use an area I know, those who are getting money, the middle class of Siaya Town, I was in Siaya and I gathered this, is county government workers, teachers, doctors, and few people working in NGOs. If you look at that summation, it's not a big number. So if you put 50,000 houses in Siaya County, who's going to put it? So affordable housing must be informed by the economic value of it. Let the PPP team do it. Let government give them land so that those who are willing just get into it. And if you've given land and the horizontal expenditure, keep us off. Those who want, because at the end of the day it's a mortgage, they will go and pay the mortgage, but now at a lower rate. I'm sure people who are paying 153,000, the people who are paying mortgages in circles in the huge of 50,000 and 40. If you make one for government that goes at 20,000 around Nairobi, within one day, there will be a queue of people going after that. So the demand is in the cities, let's not lie. The demand for the mortgage is not in the rural areas, unless we're just doing them in the rural areas to make sure that people get food. Let me use a very good wrong example. My understanding of a home is not what government is saying. My understanding of a home is not getting in a whole apartment, getting a 3-bedroom house and you call that one my house. And it's those who are doing mortgage in Nairobi, they are doing mortgage for commercial purposes. He's paying after 11 years or 10 years. When he's leaving, going to his rural home, he will sell that house. Who is buried in that house? Me, I'm buying, for example, I'm buying my shamba. So after buying my shamba there, I'll have to go there and construct my house. That is my home. But this affordable housing, the house project is normally also a commercial. It is not just simply within Nairobi here. Who is buying a house to stay forever and then leave? He will leave that house, sell it, and go stay in his rural areas, if indeed it is there. Then, President Ruto must tie the housing levy with the mortgage. You must tie. If I am paying the 2,500 that is going into that scheme, I should also be a beneficiary of the mortgage directly. So that, see, there is a house that I'm supposed to get after 10 years or 30 years. Let me start staying in that house today. Then I pay the 5,000, the 15,000 that I normally pay. Then you deduct the 3,000 so that at least I enjoy it. That's it. That is how it should work. You must tie the 3% with the mortgage on the house. Without that, that disconnect is why there is an uproar. I think someone should share this podcast with PS Hinga. Tie the 3% housing levy with the mortgage so that nikishaingia kwa hiyo nyumba and I'm working, I'll pay the 3% and pia I'll be paying the mortgage directly. Even if it is 30 years, makes economic sense. Ruto must show us if it's that money is being invested, the 3% that we are doing is being invested, and after 7 years I don't want a house, how am I going to get back my money? Otherwise, there is nothing wrong. Come with a clean hand, because what the son of Sugoi wants is to create a pool so that government can borrow and run and reduce foreign borrowing. I totally agree. There's nothing wrong with that, but you should just come in clean hands. Don't hide in the other stories. Oh, slums, our children. Don't hide in the stories of jobs. That's not the intention. The intention here is you also need money. That's my take. I don't know what to think. I've decided, I've done my best. My role as to inform the nation, so you can also get back to me, and I'm accepting your tea. And may God bless you this beautiful Sunday.